And thank you for joining us for today's online information session for the Certificate in Early Education Leadership. Your hosts for today are Kate Kane and Monica Udron from the CEEL Early Education Initiative at the Harvard Graduate School of Education. Before we officially begin, I want to direct you to the bottom right-hand side of your screen. You will see a chat box. We encourage you to let us know if you're having any issues with the presentation. We will also be holding a Q&A at the end, so please feel free to post your questions for that part of the presentation in the box throughout the session. I'm Kate, and me and my colleague Karen will be available in the chat box for you throughout the whole process. Now, I'd like to turn it to Kate and Monica.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the CEEL Early Education Initiative webinar focused on the Certificate in Early Education Leadership. I'm Kate Kane, the Online Content and Communications Associate at the CEEL Early Education Initiative, and I'm here with my colleague, Monica Udron, our Director of Programs and Strategy. We would like to welcome you to today's webinar. Today, we're talking about our new online professional learning opportunity offered here at the Graduate School of Education, the Certificate in Early Education Leadership, which has been referred to as CEEL. Let's start by looking at our agenda for today's webinar. First, we will start by describing our work and the mission and vision of the CEEL Early Education Initiative at Harvard. Then, we will discuss our Professional Learning Academy and how we think about professional learning in general at advance. We'll focus our time on the CEEL program. At the presentation, as we just heard from Jackie, there's an opportunity for you to share your thoughts and ask questions if you have them. We provide our contact information at the end of the session so that you can reach us in case you think of questions later on or if you'd like to register for CEEL or any of the modules in CEEL. We'll turn it over to Monica.
Thanks, Kate. The mission of CEEL Early Education Initiative is to promote the knowledge, professional learning, and collective action necessary to cultivate optimal early learning experiences and environments. To fully understand our mission at advance, it's important to be aware of the underlying issues facing the early education field today. Despite its surge attention and resources on improving quality in early education settings, the fact is that today, half of the nation's 3- and 4-year-olds are left out of early education altogether. And 1 in 10 early education settings are rated as having very high quality. To address this issue, we pursue interlocking strategies for impact, conduct research to drive policy and practice, leading and spreading high-quality professional learning, and pioneering established programs filled with a pipeline of new leaders. In this webinar, we will focus on the strategy of designing and spreading high-quality professional learning. We use a growth and practice model when we design professional learning opportunities. What we mean by this is that we design a learning experience for participants that is relevant, actionable, and grounded in science-based research about learning and development. We also focus on core knowledge associated with adult learning and development. Our goal is to provide a learning experience that's intensive and sustained, based and data-driven, and that transcends superficial learning about standards, regulations, and assessments. We believe the success of pre-K initiatives rests on the quality of the experiences students encounter. Quality itself emerges from the practices and capacities of the early educators on the ground. In other words, we need to place greater emphasis on positively transforming systems of professional learning and support for the early education workforce.
In all of our professional learning experiences, we begin by presenting core knowledge to our participants and then introducing tools and strategies that can be used in the early learning setting. We suggest practical applications for the use of these tools and strategies. So we arrive at our Certificate in Early Education Leadership, otherwise known as CEEL. CEEL is a visionary, job-embedded online certificate program that supports the learning and development of early education leaders and provides them with the knowledge, skills, tools needed to strengthen learning environments and foster quality improvement in all learning settings. So this slide shows how the 50 modules in CEEL are organized into 3 series. Each series has 5 modules. 4 of these are instructional learn modules that build participants' core knowledge in key areas, including early learning and development, adult learning, and leadership and management. schedule in each series, which we will plan and apply module, is designed to support participants as they map key learnings and create and implement a plan tailored to their site and work. Learners can be taken individually or as part of a series. Participants may complete the plan and apply module in a series after completing all 4 relevant Learn modules. Those who complete all 15 modules in the 3 series will then earn their certificate in early education leadership. At the bottom of this slide, you can schedule for the first 5 modules in Series 1. They are open for registration and held starting in August of this year. Each module runs for 3 weeks and requires approximately 10 hours of work. The apply module runs for 4 weeks and requires approximately 15 hours of work.
Thanks. List the themes and content of the Certificate in Early Education Leadership. The first series, Leading for Early Learning and Development, addresses topics that provide early education leaders with foundational knowledge, skills, and tools necessary for cultivating optimal learning environments and experiences. Learning modules plus the plan and apply module that comprise Series 1 offer leaders insights into critical issues related to learning and development for both children and adults. Here, the modules include a variety of themes focused on child development, educator development, and the factors that make for optimal learning environments. The series, Rethinking Leadership in Early Education, addresses topics that provide early education leaders with concrete leadership and management knowledge, skills, and tools. These modules integrate cutting-edge work from the Harvard Business School and beyond to focus on content early education leaders need to transform their professional settings and lead sustainable quality improvement. The third series, Supporting Optimal Teaching and Learning Environments, focus on competencies early educators need to be most effective in their work. By providing early education leaders with the knowledge, skills, and tools they need to become powerful instructional leaders, the modules in this series aim to transform how leaders support the work of their professional staff. Each Learn module features learning experiences that are designed to deepen the user's core knowledge, enhance skills, and add to their leadership toolkit. Materials are interactive and case-based. Each Learn module includes instructional video lectures from Professors Noni Lasso and Stephanie Jones, reading resources, self-reflection journals, dissertation discussion boards, case studies drawn from real-world situations in early education practice, and finally, strategies for implementing this knowledge in your own setting. Okay, so now let's look at the first Learn module in Series 1, the early learning, in order to understand the typical way in which a module progresses. Module, the first day or 2 are dedicated to the orientation. This includes instructions on how to set up your user profile, create discussion boards, and use active features like checks for understanding and short surveys. The orientation section shows you where to go if you need help or have questions. It's an overview of the course. 2 through 4, there are instructional videos, opportunities to check your own understanding, and digital resources, which include readings, videos, and discussion boards. On discussion boards, you can connect with other participants through facilitated, structured discussions of relevant topics. Each of the sections also ends with a reflection journal. In Section 5 of a typical Learn module, a case study is presented that illustrates the importance and use of the module's content. Watching the case, you will be prompted to think about ways this scenario reflects the key takeaways in the module, and be asked to reflect our own professional setting and how learning situations play out. The last section of a typical module, Section 6, is the wrap-up. This section contains a video that summarizes the key scientific takeaways of the module. In this section, you will also reflect on your learning, connect last time with fellow participants in a facilitated discussion, and complete your final reflection journal entry. Well, thanks for joining us in this webinar. We hope you've learned something useful about the Certificate in Early Education Leadership. We respond to questions you have or hear comments about the certificate. Questions or comments in the chat box in the lower right corner of your screen, and we'll answer as many as we're able to in the time we have remaining. We also posted our email address at the bottom of the screen if you want to reach out to us directly, and we have team members assisting us by typing some response to short questions in the chat box itself.
Great. Thank you again to each of you for joining us today. We have received some great questions. First, can I take the Learn modules in any order?
You can take the Learn modules in any order. If you'd like to complete the Plan and Apply module, you will have to take all 4 modules in a series. But any Learn modules can be taken in any order individually.
Great. Thank you, Kate. Now, we also have a question regarding the number of hours required in each module. One participant is requesting information on the number of hours total and per week.
So we anticipate that most of the modules take about 10 hours to finish. That can be longer depending on how long you'd like to take spending time with the resources and readings and discussion boards. We use the 10-hour as a guideline for time spent watching the videos and contributing to the discussion boards and most of the required readings. But if people would like to take more time to investigate and explore some of the other resources, it can be longer. 10 hours is about the minimum.
Great, thank you. Can you speak a little bit about the audience for this program?
Sure. This program was designed specifically for early education leaders. We conceptualize leadership in a very broad way. So that we think of early education leaders as center directors, schools, instructional coaches, instructional leaders, mentor teachers, coaches or mentors who work with multiple teachers, teachers aspiring to have some leadership role in their organization, as well as policymakers at the local, state, and federal level, funders. We really focus in on skills that would be universally useful for leaders across those different domains, particularly leaders who have some involved early education settings.
Thank you so much, Monica. Just someone interested in learning about if there's any requirements before someone can register to take Learn module.
Hi, this is Monica again. We've designed these modules, this whole certificate program, to be flexible and open. We don't have a gateway. We expect people who are interested in early education leadership to engage with our modules, and we kept them open so people could very easily.
Great, thank you. And I'd love to learn a little bit more about the experience for teams. So if someone's interested in applying and participating in the certificate program with the team? We do understand and value the extra and added value of how teams participate in a learning experience and a learning experience in particular. We have special pricing for teams, which you can find out about by either visiting our the web page or calling us directly at spans@gsb.harvard.edu. For teams, we do special grouping within the modules themselves, so that are in discussion groups, and facilitation happens in those groups. For people who join as individuals, we also think of the group and cohort experience, and so we make sure everyone has the group, has experience of having colleagues they go through the learning experience with. Great. And for those that are interested in taking the next step and joining CEEL, what programs or modules are currently open for registration?
So currently, the modules in Series 1 are open for registration. And as we talked about before, Series 1 begins on August 6th, and that is the Learn module called The Science of Early Learning. There's another one in September called Leading Adults for Quality Improvement. They're in October called Stress, Diversity, and Trauma. And in released in November called Strong Relationships and Interactions. If you do all 4 of those modules, you're also able to take the Plan and Apply module in February of 2019.
We'll add to that we have the dates already set for Series 2 and Series 3, and those will be posted on the website soon. Series is set to start in March of 2019, with a course released every month, and Series 3 to release in August of 2019. We will have the option in the near term to register for the full certificate program itself.
And by way of content, the first series, which is called Leading for Early Learning and Development, talks a lot about the fundamentals of leading an early education setting, which includes how stress affects children's learning and how to create inclusive and supportive workplace. And Series 2 focuses more specifically on leadership in early education, leveraging teams and change management. And our third series, which is called Optimal Teaching and Learning, talks about how to do all this at more of a systems level.
Great. And those series need to be taken in any specific order?
So we purposely designed the program to be very flexible. The modules themselves can be taken in any order, but the series also can be taken in any order. That come together forms a foundational knowledge and skill base for leadership in early education settings, but you can build that foundation in any order that you wish.
Great, thank you. And those interested in learning more about Series 2 and 3, we encourage you to fill out the Request More Information link that can be found on the CEEL webpage. This will ensure that you'll receive all future updates about the certificate program. So thinking about this online program, one of the great parts of an online program is really the community that can be built. Can you speak a little bit about the community aspect that you anticipate in these courses?
Well, I can speak a little bit to the experience of the community during these online courses, and then maybe Monica can talk a little bit about plans for potentially taking that community offline in the future. So we have designed these online courses very strong facilitation and discussion boards, so that while you might be taking them alone at home and kind of with your computer, there's a sense of interaction and vision that you can share with others on the site. So discussion boards will have opportunity to share things in your own setting, but also comment on other people's posts, and in the future opportunities for people to post videos and things like this and partner people up and be commenting on one another's work. And
on to that, as Kate alluded to, in the near future, we have plans to launch. It's still being formed, but it is our hope to take the energy and enthusiasm of many of our participants and have a place where the community continues to grow. We know that one of the things that plagues the early education field is isolation that early education leaders feel, and we feel like building communities both within the modules and online community outside of that module experience may help affect some of that isolation.
Great, thank you, Monica. Now, could you talk a little bit about the key takeaways that participants will get from their participation in Series 1?
That's a great question. So Series 1 really covers the most fundamental content in the early education field. It's all framed in a way that is targeted to the needs and roles that early education leaders play in their setting. So we talk about child development. We talk about stress and adversity and trauma that children and adults experience, but we do it in a way that really gives leaders tools to support the adults, the educators in the settings, in a way that they can universally increase quality in the setting. So we believe that the early education leader is in a unique position to really support adults in a way that more systematically improves quality. And so we also, in that first series, focus on building strong environments of relationships among adults within early education settings and key leadership moves for leaders to use and work as educators.
It was designed, so each course, each module, I should say, within the series is designed so that faculty will present a video where they talk about situations and challenges that are faced in early learning settings. And then at the end, they talk about different strategies that can be used to kind of address these challenges. And Monica discussed Series 1 will talk how you can really address young children's development and learning, address the quality of the adults in your setting, and deal with things like stress, adversity, and trauma, not just in the children, but within the adults in your setting as well.
Great, thank you both. Can you just confirm the cost of the individual modules as well as the total series cost?
The cost of the individual modules is $199. For a full series, it's $195.
Great. And both are open for registration currently on the web page. Great. So we just received one more question. Someone's curious about the work that they need to be able to do within their setting. Can you speak to the level of job-embedded work that will be required?
The modules themselves vary in terms of the kinds of tasks that we ask participants to engage with or in their work setting. Just say that they're reflection items that ask the person to apply key learning tools and strategies to experience they've had in their setting. The plan to apply module, however, is slightly different from the other modules in the sense that that module is really meant to be completely job embedded. So participants provided with a range of tools to use in their setting in which they create a plan for applying the information, the techniques, and the skills they learned in the previous content module. So if that answers your question, please do reach out and our email address and ask follow-up questions.
Thank you so much. So can you describe the certificate that people will receive in completion of the entire CEEL?
Yeah,
absolutely. Could you please confirm the type of certificate that people will receive once they complete the entire CEEL 15 modules?
Good question. So the certificate is of early education leadership. It's a certificate from the Advanced Early Education Initiative and the Harvard Graduate School of Education that comes in addition to the hours that you receive for completion of the individual modules.
Great. Thank you so much. I would like to thank all of the participants so much for joining us today, and thank you for taking the time to share your questions with us. After this presentation, we'll be sharing out the PowerPoint as well as a recording of this presentation. And again, please don't hesitate to reach out to us with any questions you may have, and we look forward to welcoming you to the program.
And thank you, Monica, and thank you, Kate, for joining us today.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
And thanks everyone for coming.